Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to participate in this event. Actually, I am not an expert on countering or preventing extremism. I am more interested in electoral behavior and political behavior. And I'm researching far-right parties in Greece and in Europe. So I would like to ask for your understanding. But now I'm starting to present my topic. I will focus on the Greek case, but let me start with some remarks on about the transnational dimension of violent far-right extremism, which is, according to Antonio Guterres, a grave and growing danger. This is actually a global threat, according to recent trends alert of the United States. Far-right attacks tripled around the world between 2015 and 2020. The insurrection and the riots at the US Capitol reflects a global challenge far-right poses to liberal democracy. And as it is already said, far-right extremism constitutes a diffuse spectrum of individuals, groups, organizations, parties, some of which have managed to penetrate the central political arena through contagion diffusion mechanism. That means that some mainstream actors are prone to co-opt aspects or patterns of the rhetoric, for instance, xenophobic rhetoric of the extremist far-right. And through mainstreaming effects, extremist far-right anti-preferences spread into everyday discourses, as we already know. Now I'm coming to the Greek dimension of this topic. The far-right spectrum actually was very marginal in Greece after the fall of the dictatorship in the 70s, and it remained marginal in the 70s and the 80s. At that time, left-wing terrorist organizations dominated at the extremist scene for almost 3 decades. As you already know, the 17th November was a left-wing terrorist organization, the ELA, the Revolutionary People's Struggle. All these terrorist organizations, belong to the left-wing spectrum concerning their credo, their ideology. Violent extremism associated with a new wave of mass protest underwent a rapid expansion at the turn of the millennium. At that time, new left-wing organizations with nihilist background, but also neo-Nazi extremist organizations, militias like Golden Dawn or Cryptia, constitute a new mosaic of violent extremism in Greece since the outbreak of the economic crisis. I would like to say some more words about Golden Dawn, about this case, which is actually the most extremist variant of Greece's far-right, one of the most violent extremist parties in the EU, a party that promoted a racial nation-state ideology, supported white supremacism. It was organized in the style of a militia party with a paramilitary inner structure, a party that was strongly hierarchical. The party leader, who was called Führer, they have used the German word for the leader. The party leader, the Führer, has extensive power within the party, and training programs were implemented for party members in order to participate in street fights, mainly at the local level, against any notion of otherness, against migrants, against members of the Roma, of the Jewish, the LGBTQ community, etc. Golden Dawn existed as an extremist organization as well as a political party from the beginning of the 90s. For almost 1.5 decades, Golden Dawn as a political party was irrelevant and almost without any visibility. But the party experienced a meteoric rise after the outbreak, or in the beginning of the outbreak of the financial crisis in Greece. And the party achieved to become the third biggest party in the Greek parliament in the January as well as in the September 2014 elections. But then started a downward trend, and at the moment, the party is not represented in the Greek parliament since it failed to achieve the 3% threshold, which is necessary in order to enter the Greek parliament. Golden Dawn participated in elections as well as in violent actions. The electoral rise of Golden Dawn went hand in hand with its involvement in violent action. In this slide, you can see data from a project we have implemented with other colleagues about xenophobia in Greece. And here you can see attacks, violent attacks attributed to Golden Dawn when the target were only immigrants. There are many other attacks against other target groups. In this slide, you can see only attacks against immigrants. Entering parliament didn't have an effect on minimizing parties' violent potential. However, after, as you can see here, after the killing, the murder of the musician Pavlos Fissas and the prosecution of Golden Dawn officials, a downward trend concerning violent attacks attributed to Golden Dawn can be clearly observed. What lies behind this downward trend in electoral performance as well as in violent activities? the murder of Fissas became the catalyst for institutional interventions. After the murder of Pavlos Fissas, a police investigation into Golden Dawn activities has started. The trial against Golden Dawn, against actually party officials and party members of Golden Dawn. This was also very crucial. Very crucial were also the revelations during the trials. Golden Dawn presented itself as a patriotic front. Through the revelations, the Greek citizens could realize that it was not a patriotic front, but a violent neo-Nazi group, a criminal organization actually operating under the mantle of a political party. For this downtrend, very crucial, very substantial, was the suspension of the state funding of Golden Dawn after a legislative provision posed by a very large majority in the Hellenic parliament. And after that, Golden Dawn lacks of resources, and therefore their violent actions and the local and the national level has dampened substantially. And the last point about what lies behind, civil society engagement lies behind civil society groups, civil society mobilization, anti-fascist mobilization was very crucial at that time. Low visibility in the public and the mainstream media at the beginning. After Golden Dawn has entered the Greek parliament in 2012, party officials and the party experienced an extensive visibility in the mass media. This was not the case when the trial has started. The decrease of party polarization during the financial crisis, we have also experienced a political crisis. The political climate was very toxic. Party polarization was very high. Now the climate is different, and we have experienced a decrease in party polarization, also a decrease in of blame attribution. During the last national elections of 2019, Greek voters were less willing to be punitive, to be against the political establishment or the political parties, and they were much less receptive to Golden Dawn's polemic, to these anti-stances and these anti-preferences. Despite the judicial conviction, however, Golden Dawn still exists. There is no way to be banned. Parties are protected, are constitutionally protected in Greece, and Golden Dawn still exists. And despite prison sentences to Golden Dawn officials, they are not deprived of their political right. Actually, they have the right to participate in election. Golden Dawn, of course, was rejected from the voters. It is not, as I said, presented in the Greek parliament, and it is defeated in the polls. But I would say, because, as other speakers said, extremism is here and xenophobia, conspirational thinking, violence still exists. Let us keep our eyes open on nationally and globally growing extremism. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm looking forward for the discussion.